After 4 months of use, I was already on the fence as to whether I could think of any good use cases for turkesterone. But after getting my blood work results back, I cannot recommend Turk Builder Max at all. And I'm an HTLT affiliate. Get ready for a long one, folks, because I tracked a lot and there's a lot we're gonna go over during this turkesterone trial I've been doing for almost 6 months. I started with no turkesterone as a baseline for weight, physique, strength changes, things like sleep, motivation, all those types of factors, tracked everything I could think of. And then I went on to using 1 a day for a month, then 2 a day for a month, then the max dose of 3 a day for almost 2 months. And now we're gonna see what it did to everything, including my blood work and why I don't think it's a good product for you. So I've got chapters listed. You can see all the different areas there if you want to jump around in the video, and let me know in the comments if you've tried turkesterone and what your results were. So let's start off with the blood work because that's the biggest red flag for me. For a quick baseline, back in October of last year, I did my first big blood work panel through Merrick Health's company because I just want to have a baseline of everything. I'm 36 years old right now and I just want to see over time how my blood work, testosterone, all those things change. So just to look at a few of these things real quick that we're gonna compare it to. My lipid panel for cholesterol, you can see here, was 186. Triglycerides there, HDL was pretty good. The LDL was a little bit high here. I wasn't doing much cardio at this time because I was training for powerlifting, and so I kind of just slacked off on cardio. I was trying to gain weight. And when I saw that, I started doing cardio hard twice a week and wanted to get that down, and we'll see what happened to that in just a minute. My testosterone was 522 at the time, free testosterone there, and those are the big things. So let's take a look at my current blood work. I did get blood work again in February as a baseline again before I started this trial of turkesterone to see what it changed. So we're just gonna go over the main things that I saw were different. First off is TSH here. Previously, 1.77. This is from my test I did in February. So February 12th was about 1 month before I started taking 1 a day on the turkesterone, and I had gotten back into doing cardio. So my split is push, pull legs, and then cardio, and I swim for an hour at a time. So previous reading is 1.770 and then 2.15. This is still in the normal reference range, but I did notice that that was a large jump from what it was before. That's nothing concerning though. We're gonna get on to the stuff that is a little bit bigger of a difference. Glucose is the same, but this is always high because of exercise. Same thing with creatinine. This has always been for me between like 18 and 24 on the test I've done with the ratio, and then same thing here. This was a little high last time. It's actually lower on the turkesterone on this current reading. But then this is where I got a little shocked when I saw this. So cholesterol, 210, right? The reference range here is 199 for the high end. And I was like, are you kidding me? It wasn't that high before I started doing cardio. So I started going through triglycerides, 87. That is pretty much doubled what it was here. And I haven't changed my diet. I've been eating the same stuff, trying to get a gram of protein per pound of body weight every day and keeping my calories roughly the same so I can track my weight, which stayed within pretty much a 2-pound range for my average weights throughout this whole trial. My HDL cholesterol pretty much stayed the same. So that's good, 65, 63. But look at this, LDL. My high reading on LDL cholesterol on my very first one I did that kind of shocked me was 116, and the high end of the reference range is 99. And that was when I started getting back into cardio, pushing hard for 4 months. I want to see if I could lower it, and lo and behold, it went down to 90. So I was like, yes, all right, cardio is important. It's going to keep me healthy because your lipid panel here, cholesterol, you know, you have a lot of LDL cholesterol, you start building up plaque, you get risk of heart attacks, heart disease, stuff like that, which is something I don't want because my goal is to be healthy. So then after taking turkesterone for the last 4 months, and then I see this 132, this is higher than it was, significantly higher than before I even started doing cardio when I wasn't on anything. So that is a red flag for me right there because I'm still pushing hard multiple times a week doing cardio. My diet is the same, and that's a bit frustrating because I'm expecting this to just help me out a little bit. Greg Doucette claims that, this is a natural supplement. It's not gonna have any negative side effects. You're not gonna, fail any drug tests, stuff like that. But this is a negative side effect. This isn't good for your heart health, especially considering most people probably aren't doing much cardio aside from walking because they're just doing it to stay lean, not to actually keep their heart healthy. So that was higher. And then I also noticed here my testosterone was 608. So this previous reading they have on here was from, I don't know why they show October and not the February one, so I'll just pull up my February blood work real quick so we can compare that, because it actually dropped a tiny bit. I mean, not anything alarming, but it went from 522 to 511 here back in February. So now it's up to 608. So that's the highest I've ever seen it since I started getting blood work done. That's a significant increase, almost 20% from 511. You can see my SHBG went up a little bit to 39. That's still well within the normal range. Then testosterone, free testosterone went up about 15% as well. So my overall testosterone went up quite a bit on the Turk Max, and then my free testosterone did as well. So I looked up, does testosterone higher levels cause your lipids to go up? Because like you see other people like Alex Eubank did his blood work, his testosterone's way up, and it started throwing other things off him. There is a correlation with your cholesterol going up, but I feel completely normal, and I didn't feel any different with my testosterone being at 608 versus 511. Like, I had the same amount of energy, same sleep, everything. So it just goes to show, if you're raising your testosterone above where it is normally when you're just being healthy, that's gonna start throwing other things off that may be making you less healthy than you think. So just having a higher level of testosterone isn't the only thing that matters. There weren't any other major things I saw. Aside from here, insulin, it's always been here around pretty much the bottom of the range, 2.6 to 24.9, and it's up at 5.8. So that's pretty much double as well what it was before. That is another hormone, and I'm assuming that's probably caused from the raise in testosterone levels as well, and some of the other things getting a little thrown out of whack. So because of this is my main reason. We're gonna go into the strength and physique changes too, why I don't really think turkesterone is worth your money. But this right here is enough for me to say, I don't want to keep taking this. I still have quite a bit left over that I'm not going to keep taking, because it's not worth it to me to possibly gain a fraction of a bit more muscle, but start throwing my other health markers off, because these are the things you can't see. You don't see your bad cholesterol levels. You don't feel plaque building up. I feel perfectly fine. I don't feel like anything's changed, but negative things are happening inside my body, and I don't want that to happen, because my whole purpose for working out is being healthy. So let me know in the comments, and if you've got any blood work done after taking turkesterone, I'd be really interested to know if anyone saw similar results. So now let's move on to the physique and body weight changes. So as I tracked everything, this is my spreadsheet. I had no turkesterone for my first 7 sessions of push-pull legs that I did, and that's 7 sessions of each. So 7 rounds of push-pull legs. Then I tracked 1 Turk a day, 2 Turk a day, 3 Turk a day, and I'm about to go back to none and compare to see how strength changes and body weight and all that. So I started off with, I'm tracking average weight. So my average weight at the end of my trial period was 183.4. On 1 a day, it went up a pound to 184.4 average. Then it went up to 85.5 on 2 a day. So I thought, maybe I'm gonna gain another pound, and it's gonna go up 3 pounds, which would be kind of cool if I stay the same leanness, because then it's pretty much all muscle. But I pretty much stayed at 185.5. I noticed when I went to 3 a day, I just didn't have as much of an appetite. So I don't know if there's an appetite suppressant effect on it or what, but there are multiple days where I was at like 120 grams of protein, and we're getting towards the end of the day, and I'm like, I need to eat some more just so I get at least like the bottom end around 160 that I want to get. I typically shoot for 185 because that's my body weight, grams of protein up to 200, but I was like, I just need to eat something. I don't want to be getting weaker and throwing stuff off because I'm not eating enough, because I'm not trying to cut through this. I'm trying to maintain or gain, however you want to look at it. So my weight, 185.5. Weight changes, pretty similar, but that doesn't tell the whole picture, because you could gain more muscle while losing fat and stay the same, somewhat of a recomp effect. So let's move on to the body composition and see if we notice any changes there. So this is my before. This is at the 183.5 average weight, and then this is 185.5 average, being on 3 a day for almost 2 months. Not a whole lot of difference. Granted, it is hotter out, so your veins are gonna stand out more. I just made a whole video on that, on vascularity, and someone saying, hey, you can't be natty because of your veins, how they pop out. It's like, dude, it's really a factor of leanness and temperature and genetics. But July in the summer outside, even at 8 a.m. versus the end of February, big difference. So, possibly a little bit leaner in the midsection, legs about the same. Nothing crazy there. Let's see this pose. Legs look about the same leanness here. Vascularity, I don't see a big change. And granted, this is 4 months and I'm natural. I don't expect to see any huge changes. I've been training hard for 5 years already up to this point. So I'm seeing, is turkesterone something that's gonna help me, push me a little bit further to the next level? Once you get your overall body shape, you're not gonna see huge changes in a short amount of time. But if your body weight goes up and you look relatively the same, that's a good indication that you're gaining muscle. So let's see here, hamstrings, pretty much the same leanness there when flexing. I don't see a big change in the back either. That's the same as the other pose. Let's see a front double bicep. All right, legs, same thing, you know, quads look about the same. My legs did get a lot stronger through this, so I think I probably put on some of that weight in the lower half. Again, a little bit leaner in the midsection possibly. Vascularity in the arms looks about the same. Leg leanness the same. I mean, we don't need to go through every pose exactly, but we're seeing some similarities here. Like, it looks like I'm pretty much the same leanness, which is a good sign with body weight going up. Again here, I'm not squatting as much, so my hamstrings aren't showing as compared to here. You can see I'm a little more upright. It's a little bit better of a shot there to show the legs. Midsection, yeah, I mean, obliques look a tiny bit leaner, so possibly a slight recomp effect happening here. Maybe I don't know, it's hard to tell. It could just be how hard I'm flexing in one. I'm trying to flex there, but sometimes, you know, in your quads, depending on how lean you are, you might see a little bit more versus not. I mean, so same thing here, nothing crazy in the back, hamstrings, size, everything looking pretty similar. Again, midsection pretty close to the same, legs. So I think it's fair to say that using the turkesterone with my body weight going from 183.4, I started on March 12th and ended on July 12th, from 1 a day up to 3 days. So that's March, April, May, June, July. That's 4 months. Body weight went up 2 pounds. So it's like, okay, you gained 2 pounds of muscle in 4 months time. That's nothing crazy, you know, because at this point I might be gaining like 3 to 4 pounds a year as a natural. But you got to keep in mind, if I am slightly leaner, then that would mean some muscle gain and some fat loss. And also there seems to be a little bit of a dehydration effect in your body with the turkesterone. So if you're holding less water, then that would be more muscle you're gaining to replace it. So I don't know, maybe somewhere between 3 and 4 pounds of muscle I gained in 4 months, which if that is the case, I would say that is a pretty good thing for someone at my point, because again, I gained like 12 pounds of muscle my first year, then 7 to 8, and it's been going lower and lower to where I'm at the like 3 to 4 pound range. You don't really see a big difference until you look from year to year versus, you know, 4 months at a time like this. So if it's putting me back closer to a newbie gain type status where I'm getting near almost 1 pound of muscle gain a month, then that's pretty cool. But at the expense of the negative blood work effects, it's not worth it to me. So I'm not gonna keep doing it, even if I am getting better progress, because in the end, I'm just trying to be healthy, slowly build muscle over time. I enjoy what I'm doing, and I don't want to be doing that and saying, oh man, I'm getting bigger at the expense of knowing that I'm probably not as healthy as I could be. So now let's move on to the strength comparisons to see what happens to your strength with turkesterone. Now, the way I did this was I had a baseline of whatever my 10 rep max was for bench press. For these barbell rows, I do on a seal row bench, and then for my leg press, so I could measure full range of motion, make it the same every time, tempo as close as I can and all that. No pauses, just full range, touch and go on everything. So I started out with no turkesterone, 200 for 10 on the bench press, and I ended with 200 for 12. That was my baseline, so I gained 2 reps. So with 1 turk a day, I went from 210 for 10 to 210 for 11. On 2 a day, I went from 215 for 10, and I had some regression down to 9, then went back up to 10 by the end, so I pretty much stayed at 215 for 10. Then on 3 turk a day, I thought I would be able to get 10 reps, at least 9. I was only able to get 8. What I started doing was I still want to get the same volume, and I'm not going to go down in weight because I'm trying to just keep pushing and see if this helps me to get better quicker. So I started doing those myo rep match type sets like Mike Israetel says. So I did as many as I could. I got 8 and I racked it. I took like 5 deep breaths, unracked it, and kept going until I got 10. So 215, or I only went up 2.5 pounds as well, 217.5 for 8. And by the end of it, I was stuck on 8 the entire time. I finally got 217.5 for 9. So a little bit of progression, but not anything more than I would expect as a natural. So then moving on to back, I was doing these barbell rows. I started with 155 for 11, went up to 15. That's like laying on your stomach on the seal row bench, coming all the way up till the bar hits the bottom of the bench and then going back down. And that's a good bench. You can check out the video I made a review on as well. So 1 Turk a day, then I bumped up 20 pounds because I was doing about 5 pounds for every rep. So I went up 20 pounds, got 10, and was pretty much stuck on 10 to 11 reps throughout the whole thing. Finally got 12 on the last day. And so I bumped it up again, just 5 pounds. Was feeling a little bit more difficult than normal. And I ended up being stuck on 10 the whole time. And I think that was because with the big jump in the weight, I was pulling up, doing my reps, you know, pulling to my waist. But as it got more difficult towards the end, I would pull and almost curl at the same time instead of just pulling with my back, and it was starting to really hurt. Both my bicep tendons still hurt, and I don't think that it's just from the form, because even when the reps got hard with the lighter weight, I was doing the same thing. But I think possibly with the slight diuretic effect that it has, if you're holding less water, just like when you do a bodybuilding show, you get dehydrated. It's not the best time when you're really lean and dehydrated to be lifting really heavy, and it's not good for your joints. You can get injured easier. So I'm kind of wondering if that played a role in this with my joints hurting. I talked to some other people on my live stream. This one guy said he had some aching like knees and elbows and stuff when he was using Turkesterone. When he went off, it went away. So I'm interested to see if that goes away over the next 2 months when I'm not using it anymore. So I have to wait till the final review to see if that maybe fix the problem, or it could just be a form thing. I don't know, we're gonna see. So on this 3 a day, it's not really a good measure of progress on that, because I switched to doing dumbbells, kind of a neutral grip like this, because it didn't hurt my biceps at all. So I still made progress on that. I was doing 82.5 for 11, and I got 2 reps up to 13. I've got live videos, you can watch this if you wanna see if I'm consistent on form or whatever for all these. I was doing a bunch of live streams all throughout this so people can see the relative effort that I'm giving on all my sets, on my working sets. So then last, let's look at legs, because my leg performance was probably the best out of all this. So on my leg press machine, I'm going all the way down till my legs touch my arms and then all the way back up. Not pausing, but just down and up. So I started 350 pounds and the sled weight is 60. I didn't include that. This is just the weight I put on. So if you want to add 60 to these numbers, that's how much total weight it was. But 350 for 10, I ended up getting 350 for 15 on the baseline. So then on 1 Turk a day, I went up to 380, and I believe I got 11. Yeah, the first day right here. At the end, I got 18 reps, and that is so brutal doing heavy compounds for that many reps. Like the last few workouts, I was kind of dreading them because I'm like, okay, it's just one set. It's gonna be really hard. Just push as hard as you can. But I got 7 extra reps for my base. So then I bumped it up to 430, and I went from 10 to 17. So again, a 7 rep increase. And then on 3 a day, I bumped it up again to 460. So that's another 30 pounds, 17 on the last one. It was brutal, but leg performance was great. Granted, I don't know how much the Turkesterone really affected that. We'll see when I go to the no Turk, because I feel like, it's 2 reps more than my initial 350, but I don't know. I feel like I probably gonna get around the same progress. I know watching Will Tennyson, he was like, man, I'm hitting these PRs with the Turkesterone, but he was also like a month out from a bodybuilding show. And I think anything you take at that point that helps give you extra energy is really gonna make a big difference. So I'd be interested to know what his performance is like at a normal body fat level when you're not having big changes of your body weight dropping all the time, like we're doing here, trying to keep everything as much as possible the same. So leg strength was good. I did 1 extra strength test because I just wanted to compare this as a baseline for about like 5 weeks from now when I do my final with no Turkesterone. But I went back to these original weights to compare what I can do now to them. So that 350 for 15 on the leg press was what I got at the end of my first mesocycle with no Turkesterone. So I threw that on there. I got 28 reps. That's almost double the reps in in 5 months. So that's pretty crazy. Bench press, I threw on 200. This is after warm-ups, of course. I had 12 there. I got 14. I thought I'd get 15, but didn't quite get it, but still, that was pretty cool, 14 reps. Then here, 155 for 15, I only got 14. I tried, it was starting to hurt like I said there, so I don't know. That's lightweight again. I would have thought I might get 20 because I am stronger in the back. I can feel it when I'm doing my rows. My pull-ups went up a lot, but maybe it's that exercise, or maybe it is the dehydration effect from the turkesterone, and since it's already hurting in those joints, it's just making it worse. We'll see, but I'm gonna, again, test all of these in about a month and a half after I've been off the turkesterone, did the last mesocycle, and see how that works. So that's all the strength stuff, a lot to cover, a lot of numbers, and you know, this is the kind of thing you do when you're tracking your progress, progressive overload, have something to shoot for. And it also helps to look back and see, hey, I was only able to get 350 for 15, and now I just did 460 for 17 after like 5 months. So that's pretty cool, and that helps motivate you to keep going. And speaking of motivation, I didn't have any change in motivation. Like, I know people say, oh, it made me more aggressive and more motivated. I'm motivated to work out because I want to keep myself healthy. It's enjoyable, I like it, it's fun. So if you need motivation, I don't know what to tell you. Just figure out something that motivates you, but this didn't make me feel more motivated. Sleep, on the other hand, I didn't notice. I would sleep like 6 to 7 hours most nights and I feel fine, versus maybe 7 to 8 hours previously. I did have some weird dreams, like a lot, when I was on 3 a day for like the first 2 weeks. But then it went away. I guess I got used to it, but I didn't have any trouble sleeping. I tested like night workouts, taking it, you know, 4 hours before going to bed. So I'd work out and I go to bed, no problem. So I don't have any problem with sleeping. It didn't keep me up or anything like that, like some people have mentioned. Maybe an issue for you, but no problem with sleep. Pumps, I don't notice any different with pumps. Like, I didn't feel more pumped or anything. If anything, sometimes I almost felt like less of a pump because of that whole maybe holding less body water, because your muscles are mostly water. So if you're losing water from your body, well then it would make me think that your performance is gonna be worse as well. And maybe that's why the performance didn't really increase more than I expect as a natural, I don't know. So my overall experience, I didn't really have any noticeable negative side effects, except if there's possible injury from, you know, lifting heavy with less body water or anything. I know some people say, oh, I got on turkesterone, it made a big difference, but I'm kind of thinking a lot of the people that do that don't really try that hard in the gym, because once you go and pay 80 bucks for something that's only gonna last you like about 2 weeks if you're taking 3 a day, so that's what, 160 bucks a month, you're probably gonna be more motivated to try hard and to push yourself even more, because it's like, well, if I'm putting all this money into it, I wanna make sure I'm getting my money's worth. Kind of like I talked to a buddy who's a counselor, and he said he doesn't really like doing free counseling, not because of the money aspect, because people don't really take your advice if they don't have any buy-in. If they're just getting something for free, they're like, okay, whatever. But if you're paying to go do something, you wanna get the most out of that, so you're probably gonna try harder. So the placebo effect, I don't know. I was hoping to get more out of it, so I don't know if that's kind of the opposite of what you would think, because I didn't get as much out of it as I would have thought. From what I see most of the time when I do go to gyms, the majority of people don't seem to be trying that hard. So my overall recommendation is, right now, I can't really suggest turkesterone, simply because of the blood work that came back. If my blood work had come back normal, you know, the cholesterol was fine, even with the higher testosterone, that would be kind of cool. Again, I didn't feel any different from it, but if it came back normal, then I could see using it, because I mean, based on the body weight changes and the physique changes, not so much the strength, but it does look like I was gaining muscle at a quicker rate, more like during that newbie phase when I first started working out hard back in 2020. And again, I'm 36 right now. I was in my 30s when I started training hard and put on like 30 pounds of muscle over the last 5 years. So going back to that is kind of cool, but again, not at the expense of being unhealthy. So the only use I could really think for it is maybe if you were gonna go do a bodybuilding competition like in the last month, taking it as a natural to help you maybe get a little bit leaner, to keep some energy as you're getting that really tired stage, the little bit of appetite suppression that I noticed from it could be helpful. But is it really worth like messing up your blood work to go get on stage for 5 minutes? I don't know, man. It's bodybuilding, I was about to say is a vain sport, but it's not really a sport. It's just a beauty pageant. That makes people mad, but it really is. You're getting up there and flexing. That can be kind of tough depending on how hard you have to flex, but it's usually not that long. There's a lot of work that goes into it at the front end, but you're just getting up on stage in small shorts and posing for a bunch of people who are gonna forget about you once you get off stage. So that might make some folks mad, but you know, let me know what you think in the bottom. Have you tried turkesterone? What is your experience? Keep watching for more, because I'm gonna have one more video after I finish my last trial here of no turkesterone again. testing my maxes. I'm kind of interested to see actually if my performance goes up, because if I do start holding more body water again and that fills up the muscles more, maybe my performance is gonna go up, and then that would be an even worse sign for turkesterone as far as the strength aspect goes. Probably not something you wanna take for a powerlifting competition if that is the case. But we're gonna do that. I'm gonna be doing more live videos when I get home so you can watch how I train, see how I'm doing, see that I'm pushing just as hard on and off, so it's not like, oh, you just trained harder because you wanna prove it wrong or you wanna prove it's good or something like that. My goal is to improve when I work out, so regardless if I'm taking turkesterone or not, I'm gonna try as hard as I can because I wanna get the most out of it. So hit that like button if this was useful, subscribe. There's lots more on the channel to help you, diet, training, life stuff, whatever, family, fun things. And I will see you soon.